Looking at Dignitas to cap form in the eyes of many, here with the rest of FlyQuest facing off against Dignitas with a lot of great pieces wanting to come together. Interestingly enough, too, so C3 for FlyQuest grouped here, Armut venturing on forward. And he's in the center of them all. Burn down, slippity slap, first blood to Prince.
Very well done research here by FlyQuest, coming in with the prep. 3-person stacking, waiting for Armut to walk in and get that early vision. Nicely done here. Don't know if that came from pure scrims analyzing or analyzing Armut tendencies here, but 3 stacking there while Maokai, Spica himself, was bottom to try and help get that bottom side vision. Really good opening from FlyQuest. Nice prep on the level 1 is rewarded. First blood money.
Very well read for FlyQuest indeed, Kobe, and something to energize them going into the rest here. While that was going around top, Dignitas taking that chance to get one of these aggressive wards so they can allow themselves a little more of that intel, with Spica specifically starting on that bot side, handing that knowledge over.
All right, gave up the first blood, but went back and got that freaking ward down.
The ward! Go with the ward! Yeah.
Objective completed. They have full knowledge of the blue buff. Raptor start, of course, here for Spica. Maokai going to do the red quadrant clear, as Dignitas will be aware. Here's a replay. Oh, do we want to replay it? Oh, this is what it feels like to be Armut. See, I would have just insta-flash. As soon as I get hit, I'm like, ah!
Oh, no!
He decides, though, to save both summoner spells. He is running Ghost and Flash. So we will see in the first 5 minutes of this game if he's able to make a big play with his Ghost Flash, because there was no instant panic as soon as the skill shots came out of that brush. He decided to save them.
Keeping calm, cool, and collected in that instantly chaotic moment in the 1v3. So Armut still keeping his summoner spells will enable him a bit more in this lane. And the rest of the map looking pretty solid. Santorin clearing on this Sejuani on the top side. He's who we're looking for to see where he wants to bring the most pressure, and maybe the solo lanes being the place to do so.
Spica again. He clears red side. He prioritizes mid vision for Vicla. In this Sylas Akali matchup, it's very, very important that he doesn't get ganked early. Akali can definitely snowball it. The sapling here, huge value. Spica, just as I said in the intro, done such a good job, even with the enemy invading and getting these wards on him, to try and control and track the enemy jungler. Help out Vicla there with the extra vision. Ward is cleared out, but track them once again. Hits him with Squire's Bloom. Also, I do kind of like the fact that in the preseason, the little changes to jungle camps, it's actually not a big deal if your camp resets a little like that. Just go back in the circle within the leash range and finish up where you left off. Whereas before, if you are doing the long leash towards your next camp that you're trying to clear and it actually goes for a full reset, you are pissed and you actually lose a lot of time.
A bit of a quality of life improvement, anti-tilt there for junglers. And Spica throwing down some saplings wherever he goes. Saplings are just so annoying when you're on the opposite side, especially as you get later into the game. And it shows how much that went on a pick like Maokai. You're not just thinking about the in-the-moment play of aggressing, you're trying to set up for the team, and so imperative to their proper objective takes later on.
Yeah, so good stuff so far here. From Spica, from FlyQuest. They've got the first blood money nicely spent there by Prince as well. He's got his tier stacking at 69. Just 6 over here. Nice. Has a very powerful recall with the Sheen as well. So maybe we'll get a little look of the bottom lane and some more impactful poke coming out with the Sheen empowered Ezreal Qs and the Karma. Top side though, here he goes, our Ghost.
Santorin wanting to offer some more of this pressure, looking for the slam down. The stun is good, and the flash out. Impact trading a sum for his life. Both summoners used by Armut.
That right there was the determining play. That is our answer. Was there going to be a successful use of the Ghost Flash within the first 5 minutes of the game? Almost. If they would have gotten that kill, I actually think it definitely would have been worth it for Armut as far as giving up the first blood money level 1 and then being able to get that here. Now, Impact teleporting right back out to lane. Kind of no problem though, is able to hold the ranged minions here.
And when Dignitas are proactive with those sums, I mean, you have Ghost, you have Flash, and those are what expelled, then Impact can approach things a bit differently from here on out with Santorin having already spent that time. All the while, FlyQuest, with that knowledge of that attention on top side, start to bring down this Drake. And a last hit will do it. FlyQuest securing that for themselves.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, Spica back-to-back Maokai games. It's not the most exciting champion for junglers to play, but while it is super strong before the hotfix patch comes in, he's happy to do it, and he's happy to do it really, really well. So acquiring objective number 1 here with the Dragon for the team as well, as been able to influence and navigate the vision for his solo laners quite well. I think things for FlyQuest are chugging along right according to game plan.
Pinging over on this bot side, maybe a bit wary of where Santorin may be setting up next, but currently spending a bit of time in his jungle. Jensen position, Spica still hovering around this riverside, taking a lot of damage. Vicla slamming onto him. Spica and Impact now ready to collapse. The flash out for Jensen. But he goes in. Vicla, that's sick, bruh.
That is what people wanted to see when they heard Vicla was coming over to the LCS. He gets the kill already on the Sylas side, and that is 2 stacks in the Dark Seal. That does not bode well for Dignitas.
Oh, your 2020 Rookie of the Year in the LCK making plays.
Yeah, take a look at this collapse. Spica from the bottom side, pings spamming all around. Ksante comes down here, Impact wants to help out. Jensen, he's over, doesn't get the part in the shroud right there, so has to walk his way back, and Spica on the Maokai with the AoE was able to see him and get enough damage for Vicla to finish it. Beautiful stuff from him with the flash, stolen ult, and W to finish off the kill and also leech up enough life to get out from under the tower.
So overall, some really nice plays by FlyQuest, Kobe. I think people had high expectations, but when we saw them
yesterday, at number 1, so I have
Yep.
very high expectations.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like 1 or 2 is what you're seeing on everyone's power rankings, and it's for good reason when you know what Vicla can do. Prince as well being so hyped.
And I think people, it's very difficult because you don't have access, as a viewer, to the comms of all the teams that Impact has been on. But if you talk to any player that has ever played with him, as he gets ganked right now, and I've cursed him, sorry buddy.
He's just
if you talk to any player that has played with Impact, they have so much positive to say about how hard he works, his view of the game, how he can communicate that view of the game to the rest of the team, both in-game and in reviews, and helps everybody around him improve. So Impact, I think, in no small part, a huge reason why people are rating this team so high.
And now Spica throwing out the first ultimate of the game, getting the root onto 1 while this Rift Herald is the target for all. Dignitas still funneled here into the pit. Spica haven't come back after getting polymorph. The Vicla is the next target going into the backline to try and get this kill onto Armut, but he himself gives his life in the favor of Armut. Still in pursuit. Winsome flashing over the wall to try and escape. Jensen right now, even with the root here, can still come on through. Impact now trying to turn it onto Jensen himself, but the wild growth is good for the survivability.
Maybe the hubris there getting to FlyQuest, they saw too many people ranking them too highly. They wanted to take 3v4 on the top side of the map. That was still with Impact dead. Impact no teleport. So FlyQuest knew they're going into it with numbers disadvantage. They try and squeeze it out. They got really low there, but a huge, huge win for Dignitas getting right back into this one, grabbing up that Rift Herald and the extra kills. Jensen coming over, getting some money onto the Akali now is very, very important for them. See about the changes here. So again, they know what they're fighting their way into right now. This is a 3v4. Double support roams, both AD carries are bottom, and Impact is dead. Maokai has a pretty good ultimate here. Does snare 2 of them, a lot of damage inside the pit. And they think, with Jensen kind of being zoned off towards mid lane, they go for the dive here, try and get the assassination. Spica with the Q onto Armut, nice little bump there. Vicla goes in to try and finish him off. They get him really low, but the shield It was either a W shield, I believe it was his W shield, not the Lulu shield, because Lulu shield just came up there. Vile Frost with the Lulu shield plus the W shield, they keep Armut alive. Jensen goes in and gets the extra kill as well. So this is what happens if you underestimate your opponents. You try and fight into situations like that, you know, with impact down. Very good job of Dignitas chaining together. Top lane gank, forcing on the Rift Herald, getting even more out of it.
Because while Dignitas will, as they try to make a play here on Vicla, Santorin coming on through the stun up directly under the tower, able to slice on out. Ooh, close.
Yeah, nice little bit of wiggling there from Vicla himself as able to juke Santorin and slips out alive. Jensen will still get paid pretty heavily with this turret plate as the Rift Herald goes in. But they fail to secure the kill onto the Sylas. Dignitas, though, I love this look. Much more proactive. FlyQuest trying to start up the Dragon in response with so many resources there just spent by Dignid.
Exactly. I mean, the wiggle, the play folds, but Dignitas, you have to commend them going for that and really making sure that they're reminding everyone that they are a contender, even though FlyQuest is picking up the second Dragon right now, to the knowledge of Dignitas. And I know that they're waiting on Ignar coming through, for instance, but Biofrost is a long-standing member of Dignitas, has worked with Spawn before, so it's not like someone random is getting thrown into the mix, and able to come through with some consistency so far in these moments.
Yeah, definitely agree. Dragon number 2, though, is a pretty quick pace for FlyQuest. Pick that one up. So while Dignitas, you know, getting their gold does, you know, allow them a moment of respite, you still have some big problems. Problem number 1, Prince on the Ezreal.
That's it.
Got
Prince,
that,
always problem.
Got that early money, got a very nice recall to start stacking the tier super early, and with FlyQuest getting the early dragons, you know, a fed AD carry down there is going to be a very big issue. So Essence Reaver picked up for him already. As we said, the tier was stacking really early on, so will hit that more amount of power spike with his Essence Reaver pretty quickly, and it's going to have some very hefty poke himself, even though Spawn is going for the lethality build with the Ghost Blade here. Varus trying to poke as well. I really value the extra mobility on the Ezreal.
As far as the overall game state as well, the gold itself has been pretty tight, only going up to 600 in Dig's favor at one point, but pretty much just crossing and yo-yoing over that line. So a lot of opportunities and pockets of many, but you can see Vicla, the CS, going pretty well and building towards some of this itemization. The bot laner is just coming back on through, throwing out that Q just for some additional poke. But Vicla's been the focus of a lot of Dignitas as of late. Spica's nearby, though.
Yeah, Santorin's done a very good job in this mid game, I feel like, on Sejuani. You know, Dignitas were starting to fall behind. He gets up, he makes some proactive plays towards the solo laners. Now he's trying to look to defend this bottom lane, but it looks like they've sustained too much damage. They have to get out. Too much poke has landed on Spawn. Varus very vulnerable there. Heal already used by him. All he has now to survive is his flash. And Spica kind of mirroring here on the Maokai is going to force them off again.
Heal on both sides has been gone, and Spawn without it falls. A root from the ultimate from Spica. Wild Growth onto Santorin. And FlyQuest, they cannot contest any longer. This turret is still standing and no wave with them.
I think Spawn was just like, yo, this Ezreal's not that fed, right? There's no way this kills me. And then he just died without using his flash size. He was probably very shocked there. Did not expect that damage, I guess. Because Prince easily takes it. I think Prince was thinking, all right, I force a splash here, no problem. Arcane shift forward, but gets even better. Gets the kill, gets the tower afterwards. And that will be very difficult for Dignitas to come back from, I feel like. Ezreal getting another kill here, as we said, already transforms, or very close to transforming into Muramana. They just now complete the item, but yeah, jumps in. Essence Reaver has already been completed. We get a little critty, and you go down.
An eagerly pretty there in the fight. But that means FlyQuest, while things, we were just talking about how even it was, 2 dragons in their favor, first turret down for them over on that bot side, still have a minute and a half until we reach that soul point potential. But those little wins that they're coming through with to offset the summoners here and there that Dignitas have been able to pull are really working for them in turning a bigger picture with now a 1K gold lead.
Yeah, Armut has been working away on this top tower though. That thing is almost done. So Armut, Olaf with the CS lead. Ravenous Hydra is incredibly powerful, even with 3 consecutive nerfs over preseason. Still insane value there, and so he's been effectively using it. Lots of pressure towards top side. FlyQuest looking like they will secure Rift Herald number 2 for themselves though, and try to push back on some of this tower space. Because while Dignitas have been able to weaken and take turret plates off of mid and top, they have not been able to actually break either of those, and that does make it a little bit more difficult to get that deeper vision. As you can see on the map, so much ward control here towards the top side, especially for FlyQuest.
That ward control plus the wave state, giving that opening for FlyQuest to make that play, and now Spica with that Rift Herald in his pocket to throw down somewhere.
Dragon coming up, and Muramana transformed at 16 minutes for Prince already with his Essence Reaver. This Ezreal does a lot of damage. Nice little juke there. That was a close one. The Varus ultimate used as well. Dignitas, that Varus ultimate is kind of a key part of their team fight. Let's see how they fare in the Dragon setup.
Dragon now spawning. That was an attempt to get some picks before they go in, but Santorin throwing out the ultimate over the wall, has to retreat. So one by one, some key components of their comp being utilized for Dignitas and no longer available.
That's why we really liked in Champ Select the value of the Ezreal. When we're looking at enemy frontline, Olaf and Sejuani, really difficult time trying to pin down this Ezreal. And when you have no Sejuani or Varus ult, there's actually no way. Prince, look at him. He's arcade shifting forward over and over and over in the mid lane right now, absolutely styling on them because he can play this aggressively. No Sedge ult, no Varus ult. Continues to throw out a bunch of poke. Rift Herald popped up. Another ult goes wide down the middle though.
The lack of mobility on Varus also seems like it highlights all the more what Ezreal can do in trying to get rid of them. But right now, this is where you throw down the Rift Herald for a bit of that distraction, because now Armut is the center of this attention. Ultimate thrown out from Spica. Vicla taking a bit of a chunk, but they just want to create this distance. They have this other tool available to them to try and draw Dignitas' attention elsewhere, even without getting the kill. They have to come through. Impact here at full though.
Pretty good chunk of damage here dealt. Vicla's got teleport, so looks like FlyQuest are making the call. Hey, Vicla, heal up in Fountain, teleport back, we go for this move. They've got a couple of wards here for him to teleport on. He goes to match Jensen in the side lane push though.
Stun onto Armut. Impact has been unleashed from the lane, and we'll see what he can do.
Another Varus ultimate does get instantly removed there by Winsome.
Seeing if FlyQuest can keep them pushed off right now. I mean, this is the point where you're throwing out tons of True Shot Barrage just for that intel to peel them off, to get that space granted, because now FlyQuest are on the Dragon. This will be soul point for them. Dignitas too far positioned to be able to collapse upon this. And FlyQuest wanting to turn it a bit back on them, looking for the opening, but Santorin's the first one to venture on forward. Teleport coming directly onto the tower, and a flash by Spawn to answer what Vicla was doing. Santorin, the subject of the wild growth, and again, just peeled away for both of the teams.
It's just so fun to watch how FlyQuest are always looking for a little bit more, because you see that play, you see the setup, and you're like, oh, with the teleport back from Vicla, they'll just be able to secure this Dragon, no problem, right? But they want more, and you can tell from Impact's positioning. While they're getting the Dragon, Impact is over here in mid lane, keeping distance with the rest of the 4 squad. They call over Vicla. He comes over with Impact to try and force a little bit more out. And while they didn't get a kill there, they got, again, both summoners off of the Varus. That low mobility carry you're talking about now will be so much more vulnerable. So they go for the Dragon, plus some very key summoner spells, you know, going for these engages. And they also got the extra teleport down. So Dignitas now themselves without a teleport on Jensen.
So if you're looking at Dignitas and who they should really be positioning to try and turn things a little more towards their favor, since FlyQuest have been steadily growing their lead, who are you looking towards? Is it Santorin continuing to set things up, or the follow-up from someone else?
I think they have to just line up behind this front line, Santorin and Armut, and just, they are a steamrolling comp here. You just run right behind the Olaf and the Sejuani, go for it. Looks like they aren't going to do it. Look at the mid lane, or look at the side lanes right now. Both solos here threatening the collapse. There was Ksante here. Impact goes halfway down this mid lane. He cuts it off. Vicla was doing the same thing. He cuts it off. It means that Dignitas, they cannot full send on these plays. There's just too much threat of a collapse from the solo laners from FlyQuest who are controlling the side lanes.
It's those little tiny steps forward and landing the chain of corruption, but not in the spot you need it. Coming through with the ult and answered by Spica once more. So Santorin throwing it down, gets rid of himself. That's a root onto 2 and a blast of a Lulu. Santorin on the retreat. Are gonna take this Poro and put her on a stake. Maybe. Looks like FlyQuest are ready to do it. The rest of the team backing off, and even in the jungle, Jensen just having to back and can't do anything about it.
What can they do against this Ezreal? This Ezreal is so free. There's nothing to stop him. He's arcane shifting forward, annihilating anyone in his sights, because all he has to do, dodge, make sure he doesn't get hit by a Varus ultimate, very dodgeable, a Sejuani ultimate. That's a stolen Sejuani ultimate. That's a way more difficult for a Varus to dodge than an Ezreal. So I would much rather be the Ezreal. And as long as he doesn't get hit by those two things, should be able to survive. Even, you know, Jensen on the Akali, looking for him in the back line. And with the early money, too, it's just, he can be so aggressive. So here's another look at it. Again, they're threatening for the dive on him. They want to take this very dangerous AD carry down. Santorin kind of jukes. He throws the ultimate, hits the support instead, but he's under tower, so there's no damage follow-up. And Prince says, great, you've used all your CC. Under Maokai ultimate, I can easily just jump forward, finish off your support instead. And there's the collapse from FlyQuest. We showed it on the mini-map previously in the last attempt towards mid that Dig made. This time, they actually make the trap happen. Collapse, take them off the map, take the Baron off the map. And I don't foresee Prince ever dying this game unless he jumps into the fountain. His support rushed the Mikhails, like we saw Winsome cleansing off that Varus ultimate earlier in the game. So very, very good stuff here from FlyQuest.
And the FlyQuest with the Red Bull Baron buff, now they can continue to extend the pressure they have built in for themselves. Even after that prior engage, Armut was able to take that tower down bot, but it was answered by this topside push. And 3.9k gold now for FlyQuest. 600 gold bounty for Prince. The unkillable Prince thus far in this game, and as you have predicted, potentially throughout the remaining of it on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, actually, maybe we can make the game more interesting by cursing him.
Yes.
He's got a 600 gold bounty. So if he does die, if Dignitas do catch him, then that will be a huge payoff. It'll make the game way closer, way more interesting. Vicla.
Oh, Vicla, next one with the crosshairs on him. Here's all of Dignitas, a teleport coming through. Jensen, expertly empowered, is answered by going golden on the side of Vicla. Way into the backline. Impact is targeted, separated from the remainder of the team. A root and then a kill onto Santorin. Prince continuing to get stronger and stronger. Another pop goes the Weasel. Bring it on forward with the flash and heal and more. Cannot connect with the Q, but he's got the hunger in his eyes, and he knows Vicla is here to start putting them on the plate for him. Biofrost on the retreat, though. They're slapping the spawn around. They get some more damage. Double kill for Prince, and it's only Armut standing in the mid lane, but the rest of Dignitas has fallen.
Vicla with the deep teleport from downtown comes from behind Dignitas' own tower to support in the catch there for Prince, who had just run a marathon all the way across Summoner's Rift. Impact as well, just ran a marathon with Armut. Those two were not on screen the whole time. I was watching the mini-map though, a little ring around the rosy from the two top laners. In the end, neither of them die, but it is going to be a Cloud Soul picked up here for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest really bringing things together. They don't even need the Papa Smithy birthday buff. They're just good.
Yeah, but like, you know what? That's old news yesterday. We're out of here. This one's not for you, in fact, Chris.
Nah, not at all.
This one's for us.
Yeah, for us and FlyQuest fans out there.
All right, so trying to go on to Vicla here. They do know he's got the, I believe it's already upgraded to a Zonius. Either that or the stopwatch there, but uses it to delay Then Jensen, he's back, does immediately get caught by that Maokai ult that Spica had cast up the river though, which catches 3 of them. As we said, no one can get on Prince. Like, how are you ever going to kill this Ezreal unless you use literally everything for your whole team on him? So he's free to chase. There's that deep teleport I was talking about from Vicla. Comes from behind their own tower. And just adds more insult to injury. No way for them to get out.
And off of that play, the push is looking good here on the bot side for FlyQuest. They're on the turret. They even have Vicla over towards mid lane to try and answer Armut and any crazy shenanigans he tries to do with positioning. He's been trying to find those different angles to collapse upon the enemy.
A little bit of a 1v1 here.
On him.
Not for long.
Yeah, taking the ultimate, going Ragnarok himself. Ragnarok for Ragnarok traded right there, basically. And had Spica by his side, too. Dignitas are in that. We're in our base. We're trying to hold off against these pushing waves. They do have that top side wave pushing in their favor, but it's the entirety of FlyQuest that are knocking on their door.
I like the mini game here. Armut's like, you know what? This game is toast. Please, let me get some 1v1s with the solo laners, at least for some fun. You know, went for his 1v1 down there with Impact for a good 30 seconds. Tries to get one with Vicla until Spica comes and ruins it. No fun.
It was supposed to be their own dinner date, not a whole like dinner party, and Spica came, but you know, in the end, Dignitas trying to put up their best effort here, but FlyQuest, nearly 8k gold. They've got that soul in their pocket. They've been chunking down on these turrets as much as possible to take 7 for themselves. Jensen can escape here, but Vicla making sure to hijack that ultimate for when the time comes.
Is yours, is mine. A legendary for Prince. See if he actually drops at all this game. 8 kills for himself, giant gold bounty on his head. But unless all the stars aligned and all the skill shots hit him, looks like FlyQuest will have an easy time of setting up for this Baron. They've got a great turn too, that's the thing. It's so difficult playing against this right now, because not only can Dignitas not really dive the Ezreal and kill the main carry, they also have an easy time for FlyQuest turning on them from Baron, because Maokai has this giant AoE ultimate range to look for some engages of his own.
Yep, look at that. It covers the entirety of the battlefield, enough for the rest of the team to follow up. All of these wall growths have to be used so defensively to escort the jungler out. And FlyQuest don't pick up any kills, but still applying that pressure so they can rotate over towards Baron.
Okay, so Maokai ultimate down. Maybe there's some sort of Hail Mary here for Dignitas. Santorin does have Flash and Smite available.
Still missing
Vision.
on both sides. Digger looking for the angle to try and get some vision over here into the pit, and Vicla into the back. Spawn is the target. Spawn is the first in the grave, followed by Armut. FlyQuest making sure to push them and punish them for coming into their territory here in the jungle, here in the river. Santorin still sees the blood in Vicla's eyes, sandwiched between himself and Winsome. And FlyQuest, it's the ace for them. It's the collapse into the base.
Children, avert your eyes! It's a massacre!
Back up! FlyQuest striving to become the main characters of spring here against Dignitas, secure a 2-0 start for their 2023 season and build the hype that has been mounting. Of course, want to take a couple more kills on their way out and a little bit of meow time, but here you have it, a victory at that.
Spica's like, man, they keep leaving Maokai ultimate up. Like, I guess I play Maokai again. Fine.
If you insist, he said. But this is a very great start for Spica and the rest of the FlyQuest squad. So many pieces coming together. Could never touch that Ezreal. Prince was just on another level when it came to everyone's reach.
Yeah, very scary there. Got early money as well to fully fund it. Nice calls there on pushing off on the bottom side too. FlyQuest calling over the extra resources. Again, I really think Spica does so many little things that don't show up on the scoreboard. These Maokai saplings, tracking the enemy jungler here to make sure he can't influence the early lane for Vicla in the Sylas Akali matchup. You know, retaining control of these early